Hey everybody, it's Brooke and I'm back with your bonus content. We finished Buffy season 1, which is crazy. Before I dive into season 2, I wanted to do kind of like a season recappy character tier list ranking. Like a way for us to kind of like talk about the season a bit through the characters. I found this tier list. It seems to only have the reoccurring characters. Which is fair. There were a lot of like one-offs, and most of them would have to be like they're dead. um, but it's still really fun. I changed the tier list, so at the top we have Slayer status for our icon girlies. We have best friend squad, so like you're allowed to be in the squad, but you're not like Slayer status. They're fine. Those are for people who we don't dislike, we don't like. They just like then needs improvement. This is for people who we don't like, but there is a possibility that they could be redeemed with more character development and action. And then hope they explode into dust is for people who, well, we hope they explode into dust. Or maybe they already have, and we're satisfied with that. Either way, I'm really excited. I'm filming this right after watching episodes 11 and 12, so I'm going in fresh feelings, what I'm thinking about the episodes. And let's start. It looks like Angel is our first. Angel is a complicated one to start, actually, because there are things I like about him. Like, he's played by Booth. And he's way more helpful at the end of this season. But he's like super unhelpful at the beginning of the season. And I realize now it is because he was trying to hide that he's a vampire while still helping. But I kind of feel like that's like fine. But it made him like in the beginning just like this guy who's like cool and hiding in the shadows. And you were like, yeah, okay, man. But could you help? Like more than just telling me there's a monster. So he does lose some points for that. I think my favorite episode of this season was his, like, focus episode where him and Buffy grow closer and we learn about his past. I think that would have to be my favorite episode of the season, and I really liked him a lot in that one. Other than the part where, like, he didn't explain to her what was going on with the mean blonde girl, like, framing him and then was still mad at her, and I was like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? So, he has the flaws that come with being the love interest in the way that you can't have too much personality. Your personality has to be about helping her kind of thing. You know the types. The Edwards, the Steffens, the Bill Comptons of the world. So I think it is a little hard. I hope they maybe develop his personality a little more in the next season. That would be really awesome. But I think he's between their fine and best friend squad with me, but I think I put him up here because he did turn out to be a lot of help at the end. He was very helpful. So he goes in best friend squad, but I think he needs a little more personality to become like icon status, if that makes sense. Next is the child. If it was the poor child before, I'd say great. But it is the child, the anointed one with the demon inside of him. I mean, I kind of like the parts where he was and the master were going off of each other and he was just like not that into him. He is an evil child. That is fair. So, but like, I think the character in general needs improvement. Just like in that he's not like, I think the character is fine, but needs improvement. Like, I think he'll be a bigger character in season 2 unless they just like ignore him, but that would be weird, I feel like. But maybe they will, I don't know. But I feel like they could turn him into a really good villain, especially if the child actor is really good. We didn't get to see too much of him. But they could make a really creepy villain, like a child villain with like a demon. Like that could be really cool for season 2. So I'm gonna put him there for now. I don't think there's even a fucking question where she's going. Buffy is Slayer status already. I love her. Like, there are definitely times where you think she's gonna have main character syndrome, and like, the only time she has it, I feel like it's deserved. And they actually do a good job of like making her not perfect, you know? Like, sometimes the female characters in, like Twilight, for example. I personally, big fan. I think because I read it in middle school and now I watch it and I laugh and I have a good time. But, like, everyone knows Bella is made to be a self-insert. You're supposed to put yourself as Bella, right? She's not, like, the most complicated character in the world for a reason. It's why they sell so well. But Buffy really is her own person. She's her own character. Like, she's sassy. She's not always the best at school. She looks out for her friends, but even then she doesn't always do it great. She's hurt their feelings before, or, like, you know, just, like, not understood them. But overall, I think she's just, like, a really good person who, with a lot of weight on her shoulders, and she does her best, you know? I always believe Buffy is trying, even in times where, like, plot or something else will hold her back. It feels like the character cares. You're never like, oh my god, stop talking when Buffy's talking. She's normally pretty funny. Her actress does a great job with her delivery. So she has to be up there. And so does Cordelia. Fight me on this. She's an amazing mix of comic relief, the bitchy high school girl. Like, the show wouldn't be the same without her. There's a couple episodes where she doesn't shine as much. And honestly, I feel those episodes kind of lack her. Like, when she's used, like, correctly as a character, it's so good. Like, these last two episodes, episode 11 fell out of nowhere because she got so much screen time compared to the first couple of episodes. She was kind of missing a little bit. She'd show up maybe for one or two things. But when she's used correctly in an episode, the scenes are always gold. Whether she's saying something ridiculous and funny, or she's saying something horrible, but you're still like, okay, but her delivery is on point. Like, the actress kills it. The character is so funny. It's like the character you're meant to hate, but everyone ends up loving. They're like, we designed this character for you to hate her. And then you're like, yeah, but I don't. Like, she's hilarious. And it's like, there's no one like that in real life, okay? Like, she's just like this insane stereotype that it's so much fun to, like, enjoy. So I'm putting her up there. Ooh, hope they turn into dust. And she did turn into dust. Gertrude, Bertha, Darla. Yeah, it was Darla, right? Yeah, because she has the same name as the girl in Finding Nemo who shakes the fish. Yeah, it sucks. She was a good villain. I'll give her that. The actress did great. This is not on the actress. The character just sucked. She got in the way of my ship. And she's mean and tried to kill people. And she's the reason Jesse died. So we hate her. We hate her. Okay, some villains are icons, and some villains do so well that you hate them. Oh my god, the principal, the good principal, he's dead. I want to put him up here. I want to put him up here. He cared so much. But he's best friend squad at least. I don't know if he's icon. I feel like he's more icon status because he died. Like, if he was still alive, I'd be like, he's in best friend squad. But, like, he's not gonna get to be in the season 2 one. He's not gonna get to move from where I put him. I'm putting him here. It's my list. You guys can do your own lists and share it. I think he belongs there because he really cared about his students. He wasn't always, like, the smartest or the best principal, like, but he was always trying, you know, and, like, he was the only one when kids were dying was like, hey, maybe the other kids need to have some therapy and, like, talk to people. After he's gone, kids die left and right, and the new principal's like, I don't know, get over it. He was also really kind, and he brought them a pig to be the mascot. And then, you know what happened to the pig. We don't have to talk about it. But I loved him. He was, like, so fun. He wasn't in, like, a ton of scenes or anything, but every time he was, he, like, understood his character, and he was always funny, and it was just a great time. He was also, like, so kind to Buffy when she first started, despite her reputation. And I'll always love him for that. Giles is best friend squad. I see Giles becoming Slayer status, but for me, I'm just not connected to him as much as I did to, like, Buffy or Cordelia. I don't know if that's because he's a lot older than the rest of the kids, like the rest of the squad, right? Or it's just, like, we only seen him so far, like, at the library in those situations. There was like the one episode with the fake anointed one where he went, and I did like him in that episode. But I think I need a little more. We learned a little of his backstory. And I really like him. I think he needs more before he hits up here. Especially with the last episode, he kept hiding stuff from Buffy to protect her. But I'm like, yeah, but it's her life. It's happening to her. You need to tell her. So, I didn't agree with all of his decisions this season. I also maybe thought he was a vampire in the first episode and said she should stab him. I'm glad she didn't. He was very helpful. The computer teacher / witch. I think she goes in there fine. I do like her, but she's only in 2 episodes. I do think if she stays a character and we see more of her, she could definitely go up. Because I do like her and Giles' dynamic. I think the actors play off each other well, and the characters play off each other really well. And I like that she's actually involved in, like, there's witches and other stuff going on. So, I think she's great for that. I just don't think there's enough of her to put her up here. And she hasn't had enough, like, amazing moments to really get lifted up that high. I think that's fair. My boy Jesse! I can't put him up there, but I was like, I loved him in the first part of the first episode. Before, he fucking dies. And then I'm like, he's only in 1 episode, but I'm like, but he could go up here. But, okay, I can't put him up there, but I kind of want to. Like, it's hard, because, like, pre-Vampire Jesse, I think I liked that he wasn't immediately obsessed with Buffy. I liked that he just kind of seemed nice. He had a crush on Cordelia, don't we all? Like, can you blame the boy? And I feel that. But I think I have to also consider him turning into a vampire and, like, almost killing them, and okay. But he is dead, so he can't get any improvement, so I'm gonna put him in there fine. If he didn't get turned into a vampire and he had more stuff, I feel like he might be up here or here. But because he died so early and we didn't get enough of him, I think that's where he's gotta go. I don't think he needed improvement. The vampire thing was a disimprovement. Buffy's mom, that's interesting, because I feel like I like her more than probably the average person likes her. I'm putting her in Best Friend Squad because her mom cares about her so much, and I feel so bad that her mom has no idea what's going on. Like, I feel awful for her. Like, she has no idea the danger her daughter's in. She can't do anything about it, really, even if she did. Like, that last episode where Buffy's mom, like, buys her this dress, and, like, Buffy knows she's probably gonna die, and it's, like, the last time she'll see her. It's so sad, and, like, her mom is just, like, she's just a really good, like, TV mom. She's not in a ton of it. She only really gets involved the one time, and she still doesn't know anything. I'm interested to see if her mom will, like, find out and become more involved. Because I could see some iconic moments from her mom getting her up to Slayer status. But right now, she's definitely in Best Friend Squad for me. Luke, hope they turn to dust. Man wears a puka shell necklace. Don't care what year it is. What the fuck are you doing? He was also just, like, a bad guy who died in season 1. Or, like, episode 1. Like, it was like, okay, bye. Nice to see you. But he wasn't nice in the episodes he was in. Maybe he died in episode 2. But, it was like a 1 episode thing. No one liked him. No one's like, Luke's my favorite character. Like, no, you say Luke's my favorite character and people who watched all 7 seasons go, who? But yeah, so there's that. The Master, I gotta put him down there. Not just because he's evil and he killed Buffy and, like, he wanted to destroy the world, but because at first I thought he was kind of cool. Well, like, as a character, even as a character, I think he needs improvement. Like, the character could have used some improvement. And I hate him because he was mean, so I hope he turns to dust. But the character itself, like, started off, and I was like, oh, this is a really interesting villain. I'm excited to see where it goes. But, like, the more of him we saw, it was almost like less is more with him a little bit. Like, the more, like, we saw him whining and being a big baby, it, like, didn't come off as funny as when, like, Buffy has one-liners. I was like, guy just, like, kind of sucks. And it was less in a scary way and more in a just, like, oh, he's kind of annoying way. And then, like, I do think he died so quickly after Buffy, like, was fine, that I'm like, okay, you weren't that scary. She killed you in, like, 5 seconds. Like, get over yourself. So, I think Turns to Dust, the character could have been written a little better, but I do know people have mentioned it was, like, quickly written and stuff, and, like, they were filling in for a show that went off the air. So it's not like I'm holding it against the show, just the character, not one of my faves. The new principal needs improvement, okay? I do think he's kind of funny. Like, he's the complete opposite of the original principal, but I think he's only in 2 or 3 episodes, and we don't see much of him. The parts he is in, I think his character is played for a good laugh, which is great. But the character itself, it's just like an angry principal who doesn't like the kids. It's not anything like groundbreaking or breathtaking or anything. I don't think there's much to talk about on that one. He first showed up in the dummy episode, the scariest episode. And then we saw him again in the one with, like, the invisible girl. Willow! You know where Willow goes. Willow goes in Slayer status for being Allison Hannigan, for being a fashion icon, for being the sweetest bean, and even, like, where Willow needs improvement is, like, not a bad thing. Like, she's such a well-written character who has flaws that I could see in, like, growing, right? Like, right now, she's really down on herself. She's, like, in love with Xander for some reason. Like, she needs help. And, like, she's very, like, self-conscious and, like, insecure, but you see her kind of stand up for herself a bit in the last episode where Xander's like, well, we could just go to the dance as friends, and she's like, no, like, that's not fair to me. I don't want to go to the dance while you're moping the whole time and you're not even excited to be there with me. And I really enjoyed her standing up for herself like that. And I hope it's a character trait that she continues to develop in future seasons, because I love that about her. I love that she's not perfect. Like, Willow's not perfect. She needs to grow, and I think it's so great, and I think her character feels the most real some of the time. There's sometimes with some of her lines where you're like, okay, they wanted her to deliver that, like, American Pie or whatever. That vibe. But, like, she feels like the most real character to develop and grow into someone. Like, I really feel like we could see Willow grow throughout the show if she stays on the whole time. So, I really like her. I relate to her. And that's where she belongs. And now, we come to Xander. Xander and I have a complicated relationship, as you will know if you watched all of my reactions. Xander is the Jacob Black. He is the friend who wants to be more than friends, and the audience knows it's not gonna happen. The characters know it's not gonna happen, but somehow he doesn't know it's not gonna happen. You know? He is not the Damon in Vampire Diaries. He is not the Eric Northman in True Blood. Like, he is not the other, like, love interest that is actually a possibility, is, like, this bad boy. Like, that's kind of what those have, but he's more of a Jacob Black in Twilight, where you're like, Twilight's not really a triangle, okay? You know how it's gonna end. And between Buffy, Angel, and Xander, you know how it's gonna end. It's just not... I think it would be hard in any of these series, really, for a character to compete with a vampire. Because, like, the people watching want to be in love with the vampire. They want to have the mystical journey. They want to be the slayer, all that stuff. I think if I was comparing Xander to other characters from other vampire shows, Xander is the Sam of True Blood, the, like, friend who likes her and she just doesn't like him back, and for some reason he can't get that. Or that, say, like, what was his name? Like, Elena's boyfriend in the beginning of Vampire Diaries? God, I barely watched that one. But, like, she had, like, a human boyfriend, and it was like, okay, not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen! I'm sorry, it's not. We know it's not gonna happen. She's gonna go with one of the vampires, at least. Um, so, yeah, I think we all know that that's not gonna happen. I just ranted, but I think I needed to get that out. Xander's complicated. I don't hold the pig thing against him as much as I did when it happened. But at the same time, his character will go from, like, I'll like him in certain situations. Like, I actually liked a lot of him just being like, I know I'm mad at Buffy for not liking me back, but she's in danger, so I'm going to do what I can to help her. In the last episode, there's other episodes where he's done good things, and then there's episodes where I'm like, oh my god, you're so annoying. So it is hard. I don't think he's at this level of. I think he does need improvement, but it's similar to Willow, where it's like character development I'm excited to see. Uh, and I think I'll give him here. I will give him here because Xander's a good guy at the end of the day. At the end of the day, I would be friends with Xander. Okay? I think he's, like, overall a part of the squad. The squad wouldn't be the same without him, even when he says something dumb. He's held back a little bit by, like, that character role and the time of that character role, I think, when the show was coming out. But overall, I think that is where he belongs. The bottom of this category, not that I'm, like, ranking them like that, but, like, he's close to here if he keeps up the I'm in love with Buffy stuff forever, okay? Because, yeah, she said no, I need him to move on so that he can go up tiers and become, like, an icon character. But yeah, this is how I feel. This is how I feel about the season. This is how I feel about the characters. I don't know if you agree or disagree. You can let me know in the comments or in the Discord. If you do your own tier list, like maybe tag me in it or share it or just say in the comments like, I would have put so-and-so here or here. But overall, I hope you guys enjoyed this bonus content. And I hope you're ready for season 2. Let's go! I'll see you for it next time!